My name is Lily. I'm 28 years old and I live in a quiet little town near Portland, Oregon. Our streets are lined with tall pine trees. There's a small bakery on the corner where the smell of fresh bread floats into the air every morning. Kids ride their bikes after school. Neighbors smile and wave. It's peaceful here. Every morning, I take the same old bus to work. I work at a small local bank, just a short walk from the main square. It's not a fancy job. I sit at the front desk, greeting people, helping them with forms, answering questions. Most days are simple, predictable. Faces come and go. Some people are kind. Some are in a rush. I always smile. I'm not married. Sometimes customers ask me why not. I just laugh softly and say, I like being single. Some of my friends are already married, raising toddlers with sticky hands and big smiles. But me, I'm fine. At least that's what I tell myself. One chilly Thursday morning, something unexpected happened. A man came up to my desk, handed me some documents, and smiled. Then he asked out of the blue, "Are you married?" I blinked. It wasn't the question itself that surprised me. It was him. His name was Ethan. I knew him. He was the brother of my old high school friend Maya. And I also knew he had a wife. I smiled politely and answered, "No, I'm single." Before he could say anything more, I added quickly, "And I like it that way. It's better for me." He just smiled again, a little too easily, and left. As I watched him walk away, a thought lingered like a shadow. Why do people ask women why they are single? Why don't we ask them why they are married? The office buzzed quietly around me. Most of my coworkers were women like me. Some wore shiny new wedding bands. Some wore tired smiles. And then there was Luke. He worked in the loan department. Luke was different. He was 36, tall with a gentle face, always wearing clean button-up shirts and old leather shoes that squeaked just a little on the floor. He was known for being kind, funny, always ready to help. No wedding ring. Rumor said he was single. Sometimes in the break room we talked. Not about anything deep, the rain, the coffee, the news, but Luke listened. Really listened. And in today's world that felt rare. One rainy Friday evening, we were the last two people left at the office. A client had filled out some forms incorrectly, and I stayed to fix them. Luke offered to help. The fluorescent lights hummed above us. Outside, the streets were dark and wet. Inside, it felt strangely intimate. As we sifted through papers, Luke suddenly said, "Lily, can I tell you something?" I looked at him, curious. Sure." He hesitated, then he said, "I'm not good at relationships." I tilted my head, confused. "What do you mean?" He looked down at his hands. "When I'm with someone, I keep talking to other women. I don't know why. I always mess it up." For a moment, I said nothing. The room felt colder. I forced myself to ask, "Don't you care about the people you're with?" "I do," he whispered, "but after a while I get bored. I want something new." I stared at him, heart sinking. I wanted to believe he was different, but now I wasn't so sure. "That's not fair," I said quietly. "If you're with someone, you should love only them, not treat them like a hobby you'll replace when you're tired." He didn't reply. He just stared at the floor. We sat there in heavy silence while the rain tapped against the windows. That night I lay awake in bed, turning his words over and over in my mind. How can someone smile so warmly and hide something so cold? The next week, curiosity gnawed at me. One afternoon, while we were both filing reports, I asked, "You said you lived with someone before. What happened?" Luke's face tightened. "She was called Vanessa," he said. "She had 3 kids from 2 different men. We lived together for 8 years." "8 years," I repeated, stunned. "Yeah, we bought a house together, but she left, sold her share. Moved away." "Why?" I asked softly. Luke didn't answer. But in the silence I understood. It wasn't just about growing apart. It was betrayal. It was broken trust. A part of me wanted to cry not for myself, but for every woman who had ever been lied to with a smile. After that day, everything changed between us. Luke stopped talking to me. He barely nodded when we passed each other in the halls. The man who once laughed at my silly jokes now looked through me as if I was invisible. It hurt. I hadn't yelled at him. I hadn't judged him. I had simply seen the truth he didn't want me to see. And once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. Weeks turned into months. Spring melted into summer. Outside, flowers bloomed and children played. Inside, my heart felt quiet, guarded. One Saturday, Maya, my old high school friend, invited me to lunch. We chose a small outdoor cafe, sipping iced tea under the warm sun. As we chatted, she suddenly asked, "Hey, do you know Luke from your bank?" I stiffened. "Yes," I said slowly. She grinned. "I met him at a party last week. He was with this gorgeous girl, maybe 24. Super pretty." I smiled weakly, stirring my tea. Maya leaned closer. "Did you ever like him?" I shrugged. "I thought he was a good person," I said. "But people aren't always who they seem." I didn't tell her the whole story. Some wounds are too deep to be explained over sandwiches. That night, lying in bed, I thought again. Why do people hurt others and just move on, smiling like nothing happened? One morning at work, I saw Luke with his new girlfriend. They stood outside laughing. She wore a bright yellow dress full of hope. He held her hand lightly, like a boy playing a game. Later, when he passed my desk, I asked quietly, "Is that your girlfriend?" He smiled and said, "Oh, yes." I looked at him and asked, Will you treat her better than the last?" His smile faltered. For a moment, his face showed something raw, anger, guilt, or maybe just annoyance. But he didn't answer, and I realized sometimes silence is the loudest confession. From that day on, I stopped thinking about Luke. Instead, I started thinking about myself. I took long walks in the forest near my house. I painted clumsy pictures on Sunday mornings. I called my parents every week. I cooked new recipes, sang along to old songs, laughed at my own silly jokes. And slowly, I healed. One Friday afternoon, my manager paired me with a new coworker, Noah, for a youth banking project. Noah was different. He was quiet, steady. He loved books and black coffee. He didn't try to impress anyone. He was simply himself. One rainy afternoon, he brought me a cup of green tea instead of my usual coffee and said, smiling, "Maybe try something new." I laughed and took a sip. It was warm, a little bitter, but comforting. Maybe not everything new is bad. As the days turned cooler and the trees blazed orange and red, I realized something. I wasn't the same Lily anymore. I didn't wait for someone to choose me, I chose myself. And that choice, simple, quiet, powerful, made all the difference. One Sunday, visiting my parents, my mother asked, "Are you seeing anyone, dear?" I smiled and said, "No, Mom, but I'm happy." She took my hand and squeezed it gently. "You're stronger than you know," she whispered, and for the first time in a long time, I believed her.